Hello everyone and welcome to the Smart Recon training program. Smart Recon is an enterprise reconciliation platform. It is a no-code browser-based solution designed to automate financial reconciliation processes and reduce manual effort by up to 80%. Throughout this training, we will explore how Smart Recon works and understand why organizations rely on it to improve operational efficiency, increase accuracy, and streamline reconciliation across multiple financial systems. Let's begin by looking at what we will cover in this training. So, Smart Recon is a powerful data processing application designed to handle the entire financial reconciliation lifecycle. Let me explain what that means in simple terms. First, it reads data. Smart Recon connects to multiple data sources, whether it's Excel files, CSV files, databases, bank APIs, or Swift message formats. It pulls data from these sources and brings everything into one place. Second, it processes the data. Once the data is loaded, Smart Recon applies validation rules, transformation logic, and derived columns to standardize the information. This ensures that the data is clean, consistent, and ready for comparison. Third, it reconciles the data if required. This is where the core matching engine comes into play. Smart Recon compares records from different sources, like bank statements against ledgers, using configurable rules such as exact match, tolerance match, partial match, and many-to-one or one-to-many matching. It identifies matched records and flags exceptions that need attention. Fourth, it creates dashboards as per business requirements. After reconciliation is complete, Smart Recon generates interactive dashboards and detailed reports that provide operational insights, allowing users to monitor reconciliation health at a glance. Now, what makes Smart Recon truly unique is that it is a no-code, low-code platform. This means all activities, from configuring feeds and setting up rules to generating reports and dashboards, can be performed without writing any code or making back-end changes. The system can be managed by normal operations teams. You don't need technical developers or IT specialists to operate Smart Recon. Business users and operations teams can easily manage the platform themselves. All modifications can be done through the easy user interface. The platform offers drag and drop functionality, similar to what you would experience in Excel. This makes configuration intuitive and accessible to everyone, regardless of their technical background. In summary, Smart Recon empowers finance and operations teams to take complete control of their reconciliation processes without relying on IT support or coding expertise. Smart Recon can be divided into two main sections. The first section is one-time configuration. This is where the rule configurations are defined to establish the process. A sample set of data is then tested against these rules to ensure everything works as expected. This is a one-time activity. After UAT or user acceptance testing is completed, these rules get freezed and are not changed frequently. The second section is regular execution. Once UAT is completed, the data comes in daily for execution. The format of the input data remains the same every day. So based on the configured rules, the expected output also remains consistent. This ensures that the reconciliation process is predictable, reliable, and runs smoothly on a day-to-day basis. Smart Recon mainly consists of 4 core parts that work together seamlessly. Part 1, feed. The feed module reads and processes data from multiple sources. It connects to Excel files, CSV files, databases, APIs, Swift message formats, and many other data sources, bringing all the data into the platform. Part 2, Recon. The Recon module is the heart of the platform. It compares and matches transactions using configurable rules. It supports exact matching, tolerance matching, partial matching, netting, and many other advanced reconciliation techniques. Part 3, Report. The report module generates detailed reports after reconciliation is complete. This includes BRS reports, match and mismatch summaries, exception reports, and audit reports, all in formats like Excel and PDF. Part 4, Dashboard. The Dashboard module creates interactive visualizations with charts, key performance indicators, and drill-down capabilities. It provides real-time monitoring and insights into reconciliation health. Together, these 4 parts, feed, Recon, Report, and Dashboard form the complete Smart Recon ecosystem, taking data from ingestion all the way to actionable insights. This diagram illustrates the complete end-to-end workflow followed by Smart Recon. The process begins with loading input files or retrieving data from configured sources. Before reconciliation starts, Smart Recon validates the incoming data to ensure completeness and consistency. Next, feed configurations define how source data should be interpreted, followed by transformation rules that standardize the data into a common structure suitable for reconciliation. Once the data is prepared, reconciliation configurations determine which business rules and matching logic should be applied. The reconciliation engine then compares records and separates them into matched and unmatched transactions. Matched records proceed directly to reporting and dashboards, providing you with reconciliation summaries and analytical insights. Unmatched records are routed to the exception handling process, where you can investigate discrepancies, perform manual matching when required, and eventually resolve outstanding exceptions. This structured workflow ensures that every transaction is processed consistently while providing complete visibility throughout the reconciliation lifecycle. This diagram presents the high-level architecture of Smart Recon and shows how different components work together during reconciliation. You interact with the platform through a browser-based interface where you can configure projects, upload data, monitor executions, and review reports. These requests are handled by the web application layer, which manages user interactions and business workflows. The reconciliation engine then performs the actual processing. By validating data, applying transformation rules, executing matching logic, and identifying exceptions, all configurations, execution history, reconciliation results, and audit information are securely stored in the database, ensuring traceability and data integrity. Supporting services such as configuration management, process orchestration, reporting, user management, and dashboards work together behind the scenes to deliver a complete enterprise reconciliation solution. Understanding this architecture helps implementation teams identify how different modules interact throughout the reconciliation lifecycle. To understand Smart Recon practically, we will now follow a complete reconciliation journey from start to finish. We will begin by uploading the required source files, such as bank statements, ledger records, and supporting documents. Once the data is available, we will configure the necessary feeds, layouts, validation rules, and transformation logic, so Smart Recon understands how to interpret the incoming information. After the data preparation is complete, we will execute Level 1 and Level 2 reconciliation, allowing Smart Recon to automatically compare transactions using predefined matching rules. We will then review the matched transactions, investigate remaining exceptions, generate reconciliation reports, and finally explore the interactive dashboards that provide operational insights through drill-down analysis. By the end of this demonstration, you will have a complete understanding of how Smart Recon processes reconciliation from data ingestion to final reporting. So far, we have explored the business concepts, reconciliation techniques, and the architecture that powers Smart Recon. We have seen how different modules work together to configure, execute, monitor, and manage the reconciliation process. Now it is time to move beyond theory and see everything in action. In this next section, we will perform a complete Smart Recon end-to-end demonstration, following the entire reconciliation journey, from project creation and data loading to reconciliation execution, exception handling, reporting, and dashboard analysis. Let's begin the live demonstration. This is our bank statement input file containing transaction details like date, check number, particulars, and amount. Smart Recon will use these columns to extract important details during reconciliation. This is our ledger statement file, which represents the internal accounting records from the ERP system. It contains key fields like transaction ID, description, debit and credit amounts, branch codes, and posting details. Smart Recon will use this file to compare and match transactions against the bank statement during reconciliation. This is our ledger supporting file, which acts as a lookup reference during reconciliation. Using this file, Smart Recon can fetch important details like customer name, invoice number, payment mode, UTR number, and check number by comparing one or more key columns. This lookup capability helps enrich the reconciliation data with additional business context. To begin working with Smart Recon, we first need to log into the application. This is the login screen where you enter your registered user ID and password. Once you provide the correct credentials, you will be successfully redirected to the Smart Recon homepage, where you can access all the reconciliation modules and features. To begin the reconciliation process, we first need to upload our input files. Hover over the configuration menu and click on File Upload. This takes us to the Common File Store. To upload files, click on the Upload button, which opens the Upload module. From your local directory, select the 3 input files we prepared earlier: the bank statement, ledger statement, and ledger supporting file. Once selected, choose the appropriate user group. It is important to select the correct user group because only users belonging to that group can access the uploaded files. Finally, click Upload. Your files will be successfully uploaded to the Common File Store, and you will see them listed with their size and timestamp ready for the next steps. The Common File Store also provides file management options. You can use the delete functionality to directly remove a specific file. For bulk deletion, the Delete All option allows you to select a user group and delete all files belonging to that group at once. Now we will move to the Feed module, where we will configure all 3 input feeds. Let's start with the ledger input file. Go to Configuration, click on Feed Configuration, and then click Add Feed to open the feed configuration page. First, provide a feed name following the naming convention. Since our file format is CSV, select feed type as CSV. Check if the header line exists in the raw data. If yes, mark header exists as yes and specify the number of header lines. For our file, there is only one header line, so we will enter 1. If you want to pass the header data along with the actual data, select Pass Header as yes. Similarly, check for the trailer. Remember, if there are any completely empty rows between the header and trailer, do not count them in the header or trailer count. Now for data storage, you have 2 options: generic and dedicated. Generic means all feed data is stored in a single common table. Dedicated creates a new table specifically for this feed. Generally, we choose generic, but if the feed receives a huge amount of data every time, we should select dedicated. For data retention, choose Add to Previous if you want to store data from every execution. Each execution gets a unique load ID, so there is no data intermixing. Choose Delete Previous if you only want to store the latest run's data. Add to Previous is mostly used for master feeds, while Delete Previous is preferred in other cases. For file retrieval process, select your storage location: Azure Blob Store, AWS S3 bucket, or other available options. Then in location, provide the path where the file is stored. When you click on File Name, you will need to specify the exact file name. File name contains pattern, regex, or file extension. Now for setup type, choose Data Setup in general. If you want to compare data from this feed with another feed, similar to VLOOKUP in Excel, then choose Setup Type as Lookup. Then select the user group and click Next. There are other options like Duplicate Check, Data Retention, and more, which can be used as per requirements. You will now see the feed column mapping page. Click on Add Column to add columns. When naming a column, ensure it is distinct, with no spaces between words and no special characters allowed. Then select the data type, string, number, or date. If it is a date, you will need to provide the date format like DD-MMM-YY to specify how the column should be read. If you try to read a string as a number, the feed execution will fail. The position column is very important. It specifies which column of the input file should be read in this feed column. For example, if you want to read the first column of the input file, give position as 1. Start and end position is used for fixed width files, which is not relevant in this case. Set pass as yes if you need to read that column from the file. If you do not want to read anything, set pass as no. You can still populate data in those columns later using transformation rules. There is also a default value field where you can add a value if no data is being read from the file. Once all columns are mapped, click Save to save your first feed configuration. We will discuss configuring the transformation rules for this feed later. Now we will add transformation rules to the feed we just created. Let me clarify that I have already completed this configuration. I'm showing this so you understand how it is done. Our requirement is to add client name, UTR, file upload date, amount and category columns against each record of this feed. We intentionally left these columns blank by setting pass as no. Now, we will populate them by performing a lookup from the ledger supporting file. To begin, click on Transformation Rules, then Add Rule. An empty rule page will open. Provide the rule name and sequence of execution. The sequence is important because rules will be executed in that exact order. Next, click on Variables and add a new variable. Let me show you how I created a variable to check if the data in the CR column equals 0. I selected variable type as boolean because we want to return true or false. If you want to return a string, always select string. Similarly for number and datetime. For boolean, SmartRecon provides several functions. I chose EQUALS for equality check. Upon selecting EQUALS, two parameters appear along with a description. Always read the description. It is essential. Click on parameter 1 and choose the column you want to compare. In parameter 2, you can either select another column or put a hard-coded value. To put a hard-coded value, click on the icon that looks like left-right arrows together and a text box will appear where you can enter your value. Here, I have put 0 as a hard-coded value to check if the CR column equals 0. Alternatively, you could create a number variable with value 0 and use that instead. There are other functions for each data type. I recommend exploring all of them and reading their descriptions for better understanding. Once the variable is created, save it. Now let's create another variable where we will look up one column's data from another feed into our feed based on a condition. As you can see in the variable $, get client name, the variable type is string and the function is getLookupVal. Read the description carefully. In parameter 1, provide the name of the feed from which you want to look up the data. In parameter 2, provide the column name of the lookup feed that you want to fetch. In parameter 3 and 4, provide the columns from both feeds that you are comparing. Once done, save this variable as well. One important thing to remember, only those feeds whose setup type was configured as lookup at the time of feed configuration will be visible here for lookup operations. Now click Cancel to return to the transformation rule page. Click on Condition and choose Always if you want to apply this rule in every case. However, if you want a specific condition to be checked first and only then apply the rule, you can add those conditions in the Conditions tab. Below, you will see two options, Filter and Update. Clicking Filter will filter out each record that satisfies the condition from reconciliation. Here, we are doing Update. So, if the condition is satisfied, we update the client_name column with the variable $, getClientName, and similarly for other columns. Now save the transformation rules. In the same way, you can configure multiple rules in a single feed according to your business requirements. After saving the feed configuration, let's execute it and verify the loaded data. Go to Execution, then click on Feed Execution. In the top right search box, search for the feed name and click on the green trigger button against it. The feed will start running. Once the execution is complete, go to Operations, then Feed Data, search for the feed name. In the drop-down, select Feed Run as All and click Fetch Data. You can now see all the desired columns along with fully loaded data. You also have the option to download this data if needed. Now we will quickly configure the feeds for our bank statement and ledger supporting files. The process is very similar to what we did for the ledger input feed. So I will move through this quickly. First, let's configure the bank input feed. Go to feed configuration, click add feed, name it demo_bank_input_p1. Since our file is in Excel format, select feed type as XLS. Specify the sheet name, mark header exists as yes with one header line and set parse header as yes. For data storage, select generic storage, and for data retention, choose delete previous to keep only the latest data. Configure the file retrieval process as Azure Blob Store, provide the location path, and set the file name pattern to contain the word access to identify the correct file. Select setup type as data setup, choose the appropriate user group, and click next. On the feed column mapping page, add all the required columns like tran_date, value_date, CHQNO, transaction_particular, amount, DR_CR, balance, branch_name, and some additional columns for file name and upload date. Set the correct data types and positions for each column. For transformation rules, add a rule called pop_add_details. Create a variable $sign getCurDate of type DATETIME using the current date time function to capture the current system date. In the update section, map the file_upload_date column to this variable. Once the configuration is saved, execute the feed by going to execution, clicking on feed execution, searching for the feed, and clicking the green trigger button. After execution completes, go to operations, select feed data, choose the feed name, set feed run as all, and fetch the data to verify all columns are properly loaded. Continuing with our feed configurations, now let's set up the ledger supporting file feed. This feed will act as a lookup feed, which means other feeds can reference it to fetch additional data during transformation. Go to feed configuration and click add feed. Name it demo_ledger_supporting_file_p1. Since this file is in Excel format, select feed type as XLSX. Mark header exists as yes with one header line and set parse header as yes. For data storage, select generic storage, and for data retention, choose delete previous. Configure the file retrieval process as Azure Blob Store, provide the location path, and set the file name pattern to contain the word supporting to identify the correct file. The key difference here is the setup type. Select lookup instead of data setup. This makes this feed available for lookup operations in other feeds. Choose the appropriate user group and click next. On the feed column mapping page, add all the required columns: lookup_ref, ledger_ref, customer_name, invoice_no, payment_mode, UTR_no, check_no, amount, TXN_date, and narration. Set the correct data types and positions for each column. Once the configuration is saved, execute the feed by going to execution, clicking on feed execution, searching for the feed, and clicking the green trigger button. After execution completes, go to operations, select feed data, choose the feed name, set feed run as all, and fetch the data. You can see all the lookup data is now available: customer names, invoice numbers, payment modes, UTR numbers, and other supporting details that can be referenced by other feeds. With all three feeds now configured and executed, the ledger input feed, the bank input feed, and the ledger supporting file feed, we have all the data ready for the next step, which is reconciliation configuration. Let's move on to that now. Now let's move to the recon configuration. Click on configuration, then recon configuration, and click add recon. The configuration page will open. First, provide a recon name using the proper naming convention. Here we have named it demo_ledger_vs_bank_recon_p1. Select data storage as generic storage, same as we did for feeds. Now let's understand delete previous run data. When you set this to yes, each new recon execution will delete the previous run's data. However, if you want to keep a backup, mark backup previous run data as yes. Then choose the appropriate user group. Next, let's talk about snapshot partition duration. Snapshot means the recon data is stored in a separate table. This setting determines how frequently you want to create partitions in that table. You can choose quarterly or other options based on your data volume. Now, in recon systems, you need to select the systems you want to reconcile. We have two systems here, ledger and bank. Mark ledger as the reference system and bank as the associate system. The reference system is the primary system against which all comparisons will be made. Click Next. Now you will create recon columns. These are the columns that will participate in reconciliation. You also need to select the key columns. These can be single or multiple. The columns you mark as key columns will be mandatorily used as the reference key at every matching level. This is important to understand because the key columns will always be part of the matching condition regardless of the level. Once you have added all the columns and marked the key columns, save it and move to Recon to feed column mapping. Here you will see the two systems you created, ledger and bank. First, click on ledger and select the feed that will participate from the ledger side, which is demo_ledger_input_p1. Then map the columns of that feed against the recon columns you created earlier. Do the same for the bank side. Select demo_bank_input_p1 and map its columns to the recon columns. For example, map the bank's balance column to the recon's balance column, and similarly, map all other columns appropriately. Just like in feeds, you can also add transformation rules in the recon itself. These rules execute at the recon level, which means they run after the feed data is loaded but before the actual matching happens. As you can see in the image, we have multiple rules with different sequences. pop_manual amped at sequence 1, pop_db_seek at sequence 5, chq_match_bank at sequence 10, chq_match_ledger at sequence 20, pop_ledger_utr at sequence 25, pop_utr_imps at sequence 30, and pop_utr_neft at sequence 40. Let me explain one of these rules in detail. When you click on a rule like pop_manual amped, the rule details page opens. You provide a rule name, sequence of execution, and select the system or systems. This can be all systems or specific systems like ledger or bank. The action options available here are update, filter, bucketing, or matched/mismatched. Update allows you to modify column values based on conditions. Filter removes records that satisfy certain conditions from further processing. Bucketing groups records into different buckets based on defined criteria. Matched/mismatched allows you to directly mark records as matched or mismatched during the transformation phase. These rules can also use variables, just like in feed transformation, to perform complex calculations, lookups, or conditional logic. The sequence of execution is important because rules run in that order and the output of one rule can impact the next. Now move to matching rules. Here you can add multiple levels. As you can see in level 1, we have named it CHQ. Here we have chosen CHQ_match as the matching column along with the key column that we selected earlier. So reconciliation will happen based on these two columns at the first level. You can see here that for CHQ_match column, we have enabled pattern match. Since it is a string column, if a pattern matches between the reference system and the associate system and the key column value is also the same, the transaction gets reconciled. Similarly, in level 2, we have UTR_match as the matching column along with the key column. No netting or tolerance is applied here. However, if we consider any number column as a matching column, we have options of netting and tolerance available. They are disabled now since the column is a string. Moving to transaction cancellation. We have two types, normal and advanced. Here we are doing normal. You can see that if on the same system, the description matches, the amount matches, and one is CR and another is DR, then those transactions get cancelled. The cancelled transactions will also be highlighted in the reports, giving you full visibility into what got reversed. Now move to operation configuration. These are the manual operations that users need to perform after automated reconciliation. We have to configure them here first. Manual match, manual mismatch, split and match, bulk mismatch, and so on. In the image, you can see we are configuring manual match. We have also added conditions here. The first condition checks if the selected records are mismatched. The second condition checks if the manual amount is not 0. When these conditions are satisfied, the manual match operation can be performed. Finally, save the configuration. With this, the recon configuration is complete. Now we will create a feed of recon. This is a special type of feed that fetches data from the selected recon's execution. First, go to Feed Configuration and click on Add Feed of Recons. This will open the Feed of Recon EDS configuration page. Provide a feed name. Here we have named it demo_ledger_vs_bank_f-o-r_p1. Select data storage as generic storage and setup type as lookup. Then choose the user group and data retention as delete previous. Now let's understand why we create a feed of recon. It is a general practice to take all recon data into a feed and then apply further transformation rules. For example, you might only want matched records or only mismatched records or records from one specific system. All these filtering and transformation activities are handled from this feed of recon. The key step here is to select the recon from which you want to fetch data. Click on Add Recon and select demo_ledger_vs_bank_recon_p1. Once selected, the system automatically pulls all the columns from that recon's execution result. Here, you can see columns like DR, CR, balance, amount, amount 1, PDATE, and TX, NDATE are now available as feed columns. These columns will now contain the actual recon execution data. You can then add transformation rules on this feed of recon, just like any other feed, to filter or transform the data as per your requirements before it is used for report generation. It is important to note that reports are configured using this feed of recon only. So this acts as the bridge between recon execution and report generation, giving you complete flexibility to shape the data before it appears in your reports. Now that we have our feed of recon ready, let's configure the recon data report. This report will pull data directly from the recon data. Go to Reports, then under Recon Reports, click on Recon Data Report. Click Add to create a new report. Provide a report name. Here we have named it demo_recon_report_p1. Select the file format as XLSX. Now choose the record status. You can select matched, mismatched, or partially matched based on what you want to include in the report. Select the recon from the drop-down. Here we have chosen demo_ledger_vs_bank_recon_p1. Choose the user group and set the number of last recon run as 1, which means the report will be generated from the most recent recon execution. You can also specify a date range using from date and to date to filter the recon data by execution date. Under System, you can choose All or a specific system. The report type here is BUILT-IN. Now, let's move to the column selection. You can choose to include default columns or not. In the Recon Table Columns section, you will see all the columns available from the Recon. For each column, you can set, aggregate, functions like sum, count, average, min, max, condition, apply filters like equal, not equal, greater than, less than, condition val, the value to compare against, display, whether to show this column in the report output. You can add more columns, rearrange them using up and down buttons, and remove columns as needed. Once all the configurations are done, click Save. The report is now ready to be generated. You can preview it in XLSX format, and the data will be fetched from the selected recon data. Now we will create an SQL template report, which is used to generate the bank reconciliation statement or BRS report. This is one of the most important reports in any reconciliation process. First, let's understand what a BRS report is. A bank reconciliation statement, or BRS, is a document that compares the bank balance as per the bank statement with the balance as per the organization's ledger. It highlights the differences between the two and lists out the reconciling items. This is a critical report for finance teams during month-end closing and audit. Now, to create this report, go to Reports, then under Others, Click on SQL template report. Click Add to create a new report. Provide a report name. Here we have named it demo_BRS_report_P1. Select the user group as demo_POC. The key feature of an SQL template report is that you upload a pre-designed Excel template and then you populate specific cells in that template using SQL queries. This gives you complete control over the report layout and formatting. In the SQL configuration section, you will see multiple SQL queries. For example, the first query pulls mismatched records from the ledger system. The second query does the same for the bank system. Then we have summary queries that calculate totals. For instance, one query gives us the total credit amount for mismatched records from the ledger, and another gives us the total debit amount. For the bank side, we have similar queries, one for CR totals and one for DR totals. We also have queries that pull matched records from both systems. Now, each SQL query is mapped to a specific cell location in the Excel template. This is defined in the Data Write Details section. For example, the first query result might go to Sheet 1, Row 1, Column 1. The summary totals are placed at specific rows like Row 6, Column 2, and so on. You can also configure email settings like mail header to recipients, mail subject, and mail body if you want this report to be automatically sent via email after generation. Once all the SQL queries and cell mappings are configured, click Save. The report is now ready. When executed, Smart Recon will run these SQL queries against the Recon data and populate the Excel template at the specified cells, generating a complete BRS report that can be downloaded and shared with the finance team. Now let's move to job scheduling. This is where we automate the entire reconciliation workflow by creating jobs that execute feeds, recon, and reports in a specific sequence. First, let's understand why we need job scheduling. Instead of running each feed, recon, and report manually one by one, we create a job that orders all these items in the sequence they should execute. This saves time and ensures consistency. Go to Job Scheduling and click Add to create a new job. We will create two jobs, one for automation and another for manual operations. Let's start with the automation job. Provide a schedule name. Here we have named it demo_recon_job_P1. Select job. Type as sequential, which means the items will run one after another in the order we specify. Choose the user group as demo_POC. In schedule details, select schedule type as once and set the start date time when you want this job to run. Now in the entity list, we need to add all the items that should run as part of this job in the correct sequence. First, we add all the feeds, demo_ledger_supporting_file_P1, demo_ledger_input_P1, demo_bank_input_P1. These feeds need to execute first to load the data. Next, we add the recon. demo_ledger_vs_bank_recon_P1. This runs after all the feeds have successfully loaded the data. After the recon completes, we add the feed of recon, demo_ledger_vs_bank_f-o-r_P1, which fetches the recon data. Finally, we add the reports, demo_BRS_report_P1 and demo_recon_report_P1. These reports will be generated after the recon and feed of recon are complete. So the complete sequence is feeds, then recon, then feed of recon, then reports. This ensures that each step has the data it needs from the previous step. Now let's create the second job for manual operations. Name it demo_manual_OPN_job_P1. This job will handle manual operations like manual match, manual mismatch, split and match, etc. The sequence here would be feed of recon first to get the recon data, followed by the manual operations. Once both jobs are configured, click Save. These jobs will now run automatically at the scheduled time, executing the entire reconciliation workflow without any manual intervention. Now let's configure charts, which we will later add to our job dashboard for visual monitoring of reconciliation results. Go to Chart Configuration and click Add. Provide a chart name. Here we have named it demo_chart_P1. Select the chart type as bar chart. Choose the user group as demo_POC. Now select the feed from which the chart data will be fetched. Here we have selected demo_ledger_VS_bank_F-O-R_P1. This is our feed of recon, which contains all the reconciliation results. Set no of runs as 1, which means the chart will be based on the most recent recon execution. Next, provide a display name. Here we have set it as ledger_versus_bank. You can also configure top or bottom records and record fetch size. Here we have set it to top 50 records. Now let's map the chart columns. The text column is set to System 1. This will be displayed on the x-axis. The value column is set to amount. This will determine the height of the bars. The series column is set to matching status 1. This will differentiate the bars by matching status like matched, mismatched, or partially matched. Once all the configurations are done, click Save. This chart is now ready to be added to the job dashboard, where you can visualize reconciliation trends and performance at a glance. Now we will configure the job dashboard, which is the final piece of our Smart Recon setup. This dashboard provides a centralized view of reconciliation results through interactive charts and detailed data views. Go to Job Dashboard Config and click Add. Provide a Recon Dashboard config name. Here we have named it demo_dashboard_P1. Set the summary chart display title as ledger_versus_bank and select the user group as demo_POC. In the Summary Configuration section, select Summary Insight as Chart, which means the dashboard will display a chart as the primary summary view. Choose the summary data feed as demo_ledger_VS_bank_F-O-R_P1 and set the summary data feed runs as 1, which fetches data from the most recent recon execution. Now let's look at the summary data feed columns. Here, we select which columns from the feed of recon should be available in the dashboard. We have columns like System 1, Matching Status 1, and Amount. For each column, we can set is visible, whether this column appears in the dashboard, is detail param, whether this column can be used as a parameter for drilling down into details, is recon name, whether this column represents the recon name, is custom report name, whether this column represents a custom report name, is custom report param, whether this column is used as a parameter for custom reports. Now, for detail configurations, we added detail view. Set display as detail, choose the data feed as demo_ledger_VS_bank_F-O-R_P1 and set number of runs as 1. This detail view allows you to drill down from the summary chart into actual transaction level data. In the detail feed columns, we select which columns should appear in the detail view like DESCRIPTION, transaction_particular, amount, DR, and CR. For each column, we can set is visible, whether the column appears in the detail view, is sum, param, whether this column is linked to the summary view as a parameter, is detail param, whether this column can be used as a parameter within the detail view. Once all configurations are done, click Save. The job dashboard is now ready. You can access this dashboard to view reconciliation summary charts. Click on any chart element to drill down into detailed transaction data and get a complete picture of reconciliation status at a glance. Now that all our configurations are complete, let's move to the execution phase. This is where we actually run our automation job and monitor the results. First, go to the execution dashboard. On the left side, you can see the input files section where you can upload files if needed. Since we have already uploaded our files earlier, we can proceed directly to execution. On the right side, you will see the automation jobs section. Here, you will find both the jobs we created, demo_recon_job_P1 and demo_manual_OPN_job_P1. Against each job name, you will see a trigger button. Click on the trigger button for demo_recon_job_P1 to start the automation job. Once triggered, the job will start executing in the defined sequence. First the feeds, then the recon, followed by the feed of recon, and finally the reports. You can monitor the job status in the Run Results section below. The Run Results section has multiple tabs that allow you to view different execution details. 1. Feed executions shows the status of each feed execution, including total records, loaded records, rejected records, filtered records, and any duplicates. 2. Recon executions shows the recon execution status and details. 3. Report executions shows the report generation status. Here you can see the report name, report type, run status, and download the generated reports. You will see a download button against each successful report execution. Click on it to download the report in Excel format. 4. CQ job executions shows the sequential job execution details. There is also a red stop button against each running job, which you can use to stop the job if needed. 5. XPush API executions shows any external API executions if configured. For the demo_recon_job_P1, you will see the execution status of all feeds, recon, and reports. Once the job completes successfully, you can download the BRS report and recon data report from the Report Executions tab. In the same way, you can also trigger the demo_manual_OPN_job_P1 for manual operations. The process remains the same. Trigger the job, monitor the status, and download the results. Now let's look at the reports we downloaded from the execution dashboard. As you can see, we have two main reports, the Recon Data Report and the BRS Report. The Recon Data Report provides a detailed view of all reconciled and unmatched transactions. This report is useful for operations teams who want to review individual transaction level details. The BRS report or bank reconciliation statement is the final output that finance teams use for month-end closing and audit purposes. Let me walk you through the BRS report. As you can see, it contains key reconciliation figures. The closing balance as per ledger is shown as 309,429. The total ledger credits are negative 161,437. The total ledger debits are 550,233. The total bank credits are 550,233. The total bank debits are negative 248,937. The total row shows negative 221,929, which represents the net difference between all credits and debits. The closing balance as per bank is shown as 221,929, and the difference between the ledger closing balance and bank closing balance is 0, which means the reconciliation is perfectly balanced. A 0 difference indicates that all transactions have been successfully reconciled and there are no outstanding discrepancies between the bank statement and the ledger. This BRS report can be shared with finance teams, auditors, and management as proof of accurate reconciliation. Now let's understand how to perform manual match in Smart Recon. Sometimes, even after automated reconciliation, there are transactions that remain unmatched and require manual intervention. To perform a manual match, go to Operations and click on Recon Maintenance. This is where you can view and modify reconciliation results manually. First, select the recon name from the drop-down. Here we have selected demo_ledger_vs_bank_recon_p1. Then select the recon run, this is the specific execution run you want to work with. Once selected, click Fetch Data to load the reconciliation results. You will see all the transactions displayed in the table below. These include both matched and mismatched records from both systems. The table shows columns like PDATE, LOAN, CODE, DES, CRIPTION, TXN, DATE, DR, CR, and other relevant fields. Now you can use the search and filter options to find specific transactions. For example, you can filter by date range, by system, or by matching status. Once you have identified the transactions you want to manually match, select them and choose the manual _ match operation from the operations drop-down. In the manual match dialog, you will see the selected transactions from both systems. Here you can see two records, one from the ledger side and one from the bank side. You need to verify that these transactions belong together. The columns displayed include CHQ _ match, amount 1, UTR _ match, and manual amped. You will notice that the amounts may have opposite signs. For example, negative 52,250 on one side and 52,250 on the other. This is expected because one system records it as a debit and the other as a credit. The transaction amounts should offset each other. Now enter a manual match comment explaining why these transactions are being matched. For example, match or any relevant business reason. Then click OK. Once submitted, the system will process the manual match. You will see a confirmation message that says, "Operation submitted successfully" with a request number. This confirms that your manual match request has been created. Now it is important to understand that this request will go through the maker-checker workflow. The user who created the request is the maker. The transaction will then be sent to checkers at different levels for verification and approval. Only after all the checkers at their respective levels confirm and approve the transaction, the manual match will be finalized. This multi-level approval process ensures that all manual changes are properly reviewed and validated before they are applied to the reconciliation data. Once approved, the matched transactions will be updated in the system and their status will change from mismatched to matched. In the same way, you can perform other manual operations like manual mismatch, split and match, bulk match and bulk mismatch, all from the same Recon maintenance screen, and all of them follow the same maker-checker approval workflow. Now that the maker has created the manual match request, let's see how the checker approves it. The checker needs to go to operations and click on Operation Requests. Here, they will see all the pending requests that require their approval. In the operation request list, the checker can see the request number, recon name, operation name, request status, current state, created by, and create date time. The request that was just created will have a status of OPEN and current state as level 1. The checker clicks on the request to view the details. The request details page shows all the information about the manual match request, the request number, operation name, request status, created by, recon name, recon run, and importantly, the checker levels and current level. Below the request details, the checker can see the actual records that were selected for manual matching. This allows the checker to verify that the maker has correctly identified the transactions that need to be matched. Now, the checker needs to review the request. They can see that the two transactions have opposite amounts and belong to different systems. They need to confirm that these transactions genuinely represent the same business transaction. The checker can also add notes or attach documents if needed for additional context or evidence. To approve the request, the checker clicks on the Approve button. A dialog box will appear where they need to enter an approval note explaining why they are approving this request. For example, verified and approved, or any other relevant comment. Once the checker clicks OK, the request is approved. The checker will see a confirmation message that says Request Approved. The request status will change from OPEN to CLOSED, and the current state will change to APPROVE. The approved manual match will now be applied to the reconciliation data, and the transaction status will be updated from mismatched to matched. In the operation requests list, the checker can see that the request is now CLOSED with the state as APPROVE. They can also view both OPEN and CLOSED requests by selecting the appropriate filter. This completes the full Maker Checker workflow for manual operations, from creating the request to final approval. Now that the manual match has been approved by the checker, we need to update our reports to reflect these changes. The manual match was applied to the recon data, but our feed of recon and reports still contain the old data. To refresh them, we need to execute our second job, the manual operations job. Go to the execution dashboard and look for the demo_manual_op_job_p1 job. This job is specifically designed to run the feed of recon and reports after manual operations have been performed. Click on the trigger button against demo_manual_open_job_p1 to start the job. This job will execute in sequence. First, it will run the feed of recon to fetch the updated recon data, and then it will generate the reports based on the latest data. You can monitor the job status in the Run Results section below. Once the job completes successfully, you will see the updated reports with the manual match changes reflected. Now, when you download the BRS report again, you will see the updated figures. The closing balance as per ledger and bank should still match, but you will notice that the individual components have changed. For example, the ledger CR and bank DR amounts have been updated to reflect the manual match. Let's look at the updated BRS report. The closing balance as per ledger remains at 309,429. The ledger CR is now negative 109,187 and the ledger DR is 550,233. The bank CR remains at 550,233, but the bank DR is now negative 196,687. The total and difference remain the same, zero difference. This confirms that the manual match has been successfully applied and the reports now reflect the updated reconciliation status. The manual match has properly reduced the mismatched amounts on both sides and the reconciliation remains perfectly balanced. Now let's look at the visual dashboards and charts we configured earlier. As you can see in the Reports drop-down menu, we have 4 options: Charts, Job Dashboard, Custom Reports, and Variance Dashboard. This allows you to navigate between different reporting views seamlessly. Let's start with the Charts page. We have our Ledger underscore versus underscore bank chart, which is a bar chart comparing reconciliation status across both systems. The x-axis shows the two systems, bank and ledger. The y-axis represents the financial amount ranging from 0 to 100,000. The chart uses color coding to differentiate between matched and mismatched records. Green bars represent matched transactions and blue bars represent mismatched transactions. Now let's analyze what this chart is telling us. For the bank system, we see a massive blue bar, nearly 100,000, indicating a large amount of mismatched transactions. The green bar for matched is very small in comparison. For the ledger system, we see a blue bar around 10,000 for mismatched transactions, with a similarly small green bar for matched transactions. This chart provides an instant visual insight into reconciliation health. It clearly highlights that the majority of amounts for both systems are currently showing as mismatched. This tells us that there are significant discrepancies that need to be investigated and resolved. The job dashboard, which we configured earlier, provides a similar view but with additional drill-down capabilities and summary statistics. You can click on any chart element to see the underlying transaction details. The Custom Reports and Variance Dashboard tabs give you access to more detailed and customizable reporting views, allowing you to analyze reconciliation data from different perspectives. Now let's look at the process flow diagram, which gives us a visual representation of our automation job's execution sequence. To access this, go to Configuration and click on Process Flow. This page provides a visual workflow diagram of any scheduled job showing the complete execution sequence from start to finish. Here, we can see the flow for demo_recon_job_P1. The diagram clearly shows the sequential execution of all components in the order they run. First, the job starts and executes all the feeds demo_ledger_supporting_file_P1, demo_ledger_input_P1, and demo_bank_input_P1. These run first to load all the necessary data. Once all feeds are successfully executed, the recon runs demo_ledger_vs_bank_recon_P1. This performs the actual reconciliation matching. After the recon is complete, the feed of recon runs demo_ledger_vs_bank_f-o-r_P1, which fetches the recon data. Finally, the reports are generated. Both demo_brs_report_P1 and demo_recon_report_P1. This visual flow is extremely helpful for understanding the dependencies between different components. You can see exactly which steps need to complete before the next one begins. You can also run the job directly from this page by clicking the Execute button, and you can download the generated reports from here as well. The process flow provides a clear visual understanding of how your automation job works, making it easy to identify any bottlenecks or issues in the execution sequence. And that brings us to the end of our SmartRecon training journey. We have covered everything from the fundamentals of reconciliation to the complete end-to-end configuration and execution of SmartRecon. Let me quickly recap what we have covered today. We started with understanding what reconciliation is and why it is important for financial institutions. We explored the challenges of manual reconciliation and how SmartRecon automates this entire process. We then walked through the key features of SmartRecon, including its no-code configuration user interface, multi-source data support, automated matching engine, exception handling, and comprehensive reporting capabilities. We went deep into reconciliation concepts: exact match, partial match, tolerance matching, many-to-one and one-to-many matching, composite keys, derived keys, transaction cancellation, manual operations, and exception handling. We then moved to the practical side: configuring feeds, adding transformation rules, setting up recon with multiple levels and matching rules, creating feed of recon, configuring reports including the BRS report, setting up charts and dashboards, and finally executing automation jobs. We also covered the maker-checker workflow for manual operations and saw how to approve manual match requests. You have learned how to configure feeds for different file formats and data sources, set up transformation rules for data enrichment and lookup, create reconciliation configurations with multiple matching levels, generate comprehensive reports including BRS, build interactive dashboards and charts, automate the entire workflow using job scheduling, perform and approve manual operations. SmartRecon is designed to be flexible and configurable to meet your specific business requirements. The concepts and configurations you have learned today can be adapted to various reconciliation scenarios across banking, insurance, retail, telecom, fintech, and government sectors. Thank you for joining this training session. We hope you now have a solid understanding of how SmartRecon can transform your reconciliation processes, reduce manual effort, and improve accuracy. If you have any questions or need further assistance, please reach out to our support team. Happy reconciling.